The number one objection I get when I recommend Kajabi to someone is that it's too expensive. And so I wanted to make this video to break down the cost of Kajabi and also contrast it with other options out there so you can actually see what is really expensive, because cost and expense is totally relative. Something is only expensive when you ask the question compared to what. And so in this video, in particular, I want to compare Kajabi to WordPress and what a stack on WordPress might look like. And I also want to involve Squarespace, which I'm very well aware of the fact that Squarespace is not a course delivery platform. It doesn't do the same sort of things that Kajabi does. But there is a use case here where even someone who wants a site but is maybe a couple months away from launching products or email marketing or checkouts, all that kind of stuff, starting on Kajabi is going to be a better option to then be able to roll out those things later. And in this video, I'm going to show you why. By the way, my name is Alex King. I'm a creative and marketing consultant based in Las Vegas. I've been doing this for over a decade now. I've used pretty much every platform you can imagine, whether it's for myself, my own projects, or for the many clients I've had. Clients like Tony Robbins, Eric Worre, Disney, just to name a few. So I really know what I'm talking about here, and I don't consider myself much of a presenter or a teacher, but more recently I've been wanting to share some of the knowledge and the strategies I've been using behind the scenes to build these multi-million-dollar brands and just share it with the world. So this is something that I get asked about a lot. And when it comes to Kajabi, right now, I've got it up on my screen, you can subscribe to Kajabi for $149 a month. By the way, if you haven't already, or you're still just exploring and maybe want to trial Kajabi, on their website, there's a 14-day free trial, but if you click the link in the description of this video, I've actually arranged a 28-day free trial. So you can get a little more time out of setting up your stuff on Kajabi if that interests you. Let's start with cost, because like I said, that's the biggest objection that I get when it comes to recommending Kajabi to someone. And they say, well, WordPress is cheaper. And by the way, let's just break down the WordPress thing real quick. We're talking about self-managed WordPress, right? Not WordPress.com, where it's just like a WordPress blog. We're talking about you need your hosting, you need your domain, you're setting up your DNS and all that good stuff yourself. You're probably buying a theme. You've probably been on like support chat or support phone calls with GoDaddy or Bluehost or Namecheap, whatever it might be. All that stuff is great. There is a use case for it. I've used it with many clients. I use a WordPress site for my own personal site because I have a use case there as well. But for most people, most creatives, entrepreneurs, coaches who I work a lot with, consultants, anyone who has an area of expertise, Kajabi is just a better option if you don't have a team, if you don't want to pay someone. It's so much better. So I picture this, right? And this is how most of my clients, previous clients, my sort of smaller tier clients, would come to me. They've got a WordPress site, or maybe paying a virtual assistant anywhere from $200 to $500 a month to be able to make updates, change things, whatever it might be. It's a plugin nightmare. I just made a little list here before. Some just basic plugins. Again, most WordPress sites I have used or even built, guilty, have anywhere from 10 to 30 plugins on them. But let's just go through a small basic list. Like your site isn't really launch ready unless you've got these. I'm going to say Elementor, which is a page builder or an equivalent like Beaver Builder, something like that. Something to deal with image compression, an SEO plugin, a caching plugin for speed, a security plugin like WordFence. And that's just the basics, not to mention if you want to sell stuff through like WooCommerce or do a membership site through, I don't know, MemberPress, something like that. It just becomes so bloated. And each of these plugins have their own annual subscription in most cases. Elementor is $49 for the whole year. And again, that might sound minuscule put next to Kajabi for $149 a month, but the fact is you're running a business here and you need the efficiency of something that works. The more plugins, the more variables you add to your marketing stack, the more can and will, in my experience, go wrong. Not to mention all the time that you lose setting up all of those things, all of the frustration that you deal with having to piece them together and make them work with each other. my experience shows, and the struggles that I've helped my clients with, is that they're spending more time being a technical director and a WordPress, nerd, whatever it might be, having to learn all that kind of stuff, then they can just launch and sell their stuff, right? They need to stay in their lane. You likely need to stay in your lane of being able to just have stuff work. I promise you, no matter what all the marketing mumbo jumbo says, no matter what all the, GoDaddy, we're the easiest WordPress platform and all this kind of stuff, I promise you it will be rough. It will be a rough thing, especially if you've no technical knowledge or background. So the cost, my argument here is that you are paying a cost of inefficiency. Stack up all of the hard costs. If you put, Elementor, Short Pixel, Yoast SEO, T3 or S3, the caching plugin, whatever it might be, WordFence, all of the premium versions of those, not to mention some of the other plugins, you're likely paying well over $1,000 a year for all of those just to maintain the licenses of them. And with Kajabi, there's no plugins, there's no licenses, there's no renewals. Everything is just built into that one platform that's built by the same team. So everything works together instead of having to do this mishmash, I guess, if that's the word, of different plugins trying to keep your site up. And not to mention, just at a foundational level, a domain, they change all the time. A domain, you're paying like $12 a year for that. Your hosting, they'll hook you in with like a $6 a month thing for 36 months or 12 months. But after that renews, you're looking at 10 to 20 bucks a month just for your hosting of your website. And that's not managing any kind of efficiency or optimizations. You'll see stuff that says like, oh, you can host unlimited websites. And you say, well, great, because I want to launch lots of other things as well. It doesn't work that way. It's unlimited websites, but there is a limit to the file size that you can have within those unlimited websites. So they get you there. There are tricks in marketing lingo, things where you will be led astray. Let's move on to the second part of this conversation, which is efficiency and inefficiency. Now, I have a saying that goes that inefficiency is one of the most expensive things in your business. When things are not working, that's what will cost you. Whether it's not working and you're trying to create or build something, the frustration, the additional help that you likely need to call in is so unbelievably expensive, both in hard money and energy, which has a cost. You not spending time building your business and reaching your audience and spending that time screwing around with your website, that actually costs you money. And so I hate this argument of, I'm not spending that because I can do it cheaper over here. Ridiculous. If something takes you 5 hours over here and it would have taken you 30 minutes over here, that is the stupid option. That is the stupid option, the stupid investment. Efficiency, especially as a business owner and entrepreneur, is way more valuable, and you should always opt for it whenever you can. Same goes for researching stuff, having to piece together these plugins, having to find people to hire and all that kind of stuff. Not to mention when things go wrong, whether it's on launch day, had that happen, launch day, emailing out to thousands of people and your customers can't access your checkout because you built it with WooCommerce and BuddyBoss and all this kind of crap, and that stops working, that's costing you fortunes. So you need reliability as a part of this conversation as well. And when I see these WordPress websites, and I've built them in the past, every morning I'm sort of crossing my fingers, hoping that the hosting company didn't do an automatic update, or WordPress didn't do an automatic update, or this plugin stopped working, or deactivated, whatever it might be. Nightmare. I sleep so much better at night knowing that I'm not relying on 8 different plugins having to all talk to each other and play nice to actually just do the basics that a site and a business needs. The third point I want to make in all of this is the support that's available. So Kajabi has 24-hour support available for their customers, and that's really, really amazing. So if something does go wrong, I've actually never had to reach out to the support. I think the only time I've chatted with them is regarding, something really, really, really super nerdy in advance. I just had a question. But to be able to have someone on hand if you need to ask a question like, hey, how do I set up this checkout page, whatever it might be. Not only do they have tutorials specifically built for their platform, and of course, so many other Kajabi experts out there who share their knowledge, but to be able to have that on hand is a really big thing. If you have an issue with like your theme on WordPress, you got no one to reach out to. I mean, maybe you've got theme support if you're still paying for that, which generally expires after 6 months. But you've got like GoDaddy's chat line maybe, but they're only there to help you with hosting stuff. You've got this whole array of different people and options who will do one thing and won't touch another. You could hire a WordPress expert, someone like myself, very expensive. I don't necessarily recommend it. And of course, they might be an expert in one thing, but maybe they've never used the particular plugin or stack that you're trying to use. So they're going through their own learning curve and you're paying them for that too. So support and not having support is very, very expensive. To be able to bundle everything together, I've tried to think of so many analogies, but not that we have DVD stores or movie stores anymore, but it's like imagine that every DVD was $1 in the store, but you had to get up and drive to the store, and you had to touch it, pick it up, make sure it was okay, pay for it. And yeah, you might think, oh, well, it's just $1 and now I don't have to pay for Netflix and I can just go get as many videos as I want. The efficiency of being able to sit on your butt on the couch and just watch instantly any movie you want is worth whatever Netflix costs. Ironically, they keep increasing their prices over the years, but whatever, that's beside the point. Kajabi hasn't increased their prices since I've been using it, and that's been a couple of years now as well. So side note, a lot of people find these videos through asking about Teachable. Teachable has increased their prices, just so you know. I used to use Teachable for our course delivery. I no longer do. They also got bought out by a larger parent company recently, and the second they did, they increased their prices, which is never a good sign to me. So yeah, I highly recommend jumping ship from Teachable to Kajabi. Again, you can use that affiliate link down below. It helps support the channel if that's something you need to do. But yeah, the efficiency of Kajabi versus a WordPress stack, and it truly is a stack. It's thing upon thing upon thing. You've got your hosting, your theme, your plugins, all that kind of junk. It can become a real headache, I promise you. If you're stuck in that situation right now, I highly recommend jumping ship to Kajabi, whether you do it yourself, you hire someone, or you reach out to me, which I always welcome as well. I'm happy to work with you on that too. The final sort of thing I want to say here is regarding Squarespace. Now, I have built like one site with Squarespace, so I'm not an expert, I'm not necessarily a massive advocate for it, but the argument must be made that when you add in the cost of your domain, your theme, your plugins, your hosting, to be able to do that all in one inside of Squarespace, it's kind of like a Kajabi, but Squarespace doesn't have course delivery, doesn't have advanced email marketing like Kajabi, all that kind of stuff. But at its price point, what, $20 a month, $25, something like that, well worth it if you're serious about having a business and something reliable. So it's crazy. Like, I used to be the WordPress guy, recommending WordPress to everyone, use this theme, this plugin, this is my favorite theme, that kind of thing. I just don't do it anymore. When friends or clients or prospects, whatever, ask me about that kind of stuff, if courses and online business is in their future, it's Kajabi all the way. Great move. Build the site on Kajabi, because you can actually build your own website, like your front-facing website on Kajabi. Highly recommend doing that. I did that with a client. We moved them from a massive bloated Kajabi stack or WordPress stack to a Kajabi site. I'll put the link to that down in the description below as well, so you can just see, and it just works. It's just nice and it just works. Might not have the massive amounts of customizability that something like Elementor has, but it does just work, and that's what you need at the end of the day. You need that efficiency. But for Squarespace, it's largely the same. You're never going to have to deal with like your database and WordPress getting disconnected or any of that nonsense. It is just going to work. So I've had more people where I've said, listen, don't worry about the whole WordPress thing. Forget all my old videos and trainings and talks. Just go use something like Squarespace or even Wix, which I'm a big fan of as well. Because just the efficiency and honestly being able to do it yourself is so much better these days. So anyway, for that point where some people are at, which is like, I need to launch a website, I'm seeing Kajabi, what's the use case? Here's the thing. If you know you're never ever gonna have online courses, like never ever, that's not even in your line of work, you're not gonna have online courses or online products or anything like that, Squarespace is likely a good fit for you. If you just need your business online, sort of like a storefront window, that's fine. And cost is an issue, like, because it is a different commitment, $20 a month versus $150 a month. If that's a real thing, totally Squarespace or Wix all day, big fan. Online products, any sort of digital checkout, anything like that, I'm telling you, you gotta use Kajabi for that. You'll just be so much more effective and efficient, and it all just runs in one spot. So that's my take. That's all I got for this video. If you have any other questions, by the way, I love hearing like your comments on the sort of stacks you're running or the plugins and things that you're trying to integrate. I'm trying to upload more to this channel of how I've built out my marketing stacks over the years and what's working right now. So be sure to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to see more of those things. But I love reading the comments. I love replying to those comments and making videos based off of that as well. Until next time, I'll see you later. Oh, by the way, you can also reach out if you want to get in touch or have any questions for your particular business and you want to look at consulting or coaching. You can also visit my website in the description below. See you in the next one.